This looks like I'm gonna have a guest, but it's just for my coffee.
Hi guys, I'm editing this video and I realized I was so nervous about this Q&A that I did not even introduce myself or this channel. Hi, I'm Aira, this is Bentley House Minis, and I hope you enjoy this Q&A.
Okay, I'll take my shoes off. My socks don't match. I am doing a Q&A today because it's just really busy time of the year for me. It should be over in about a week's time, not the year, just the busy time of the year. So I asked on my YouTube community page if you guys had any questions for me. I do a quick Q&A, and so that's what I'm going to be answering today. So if your first question is my fashion ideal 90s teenager? Yes, it is. I don't really know how to start this. It's just like, maybe I should have had a guest to ask me the questions because this is weird. But first question is from Action Walls, says, you've mentioned your dog, but do you have any other pets? So I do have a dog, Audrey. We'll see if she'll come in here. Audrey, come here. Can you sit with me? Come on. There you go. This is Audrey. This is my dog. We did have another dog, and she passed away about 1.5 years ago. She had a tumor, and anyway, she was in a lot of pain. So she's no longer with us, but we still have Audrey. She's a Bichon mix, and she's very fuzzy and very loving. She loves people. Whenever we go to the dog park, she prefers to sit on the benches with the people instead of playing with the other dogs. Yes, you do. It's true. It looks like my pants are unzipped, but it's just my shirt showing through my other shirt. June Gallagher asks, are you thinking of gluing in the Addams Family furniture, or is it more to be able to move it around and be able to change the pieces? So that's a very good question. Just recently I did a video talking about glue anxiety and how it does take a lot of confidence to glue down your pieces because pretty much it's permanent unless you're willing to risk ruining something as you tear it out. For the Addams Family specifically, I do plan to glue in some wall hangings, the paintings, anything that I'm going to have to put up on the wall and can't just sit on the floor. I'm going to glue those in, but I do believe the furniture itself I'm going to leave removable so that I can move it around. I do use the Addams Family house as a backdrop for some of my other miniatures that I make, so I do want it to be versatile enough for me to remove things out and be able to use it for that purpose. James Akers asks, I was wondering what inspired you to become a miniaturist and how did you get started? What outlets did you use? So I was inspired to become a miniaturist. I just kind of fell into it actually. I went to school and studied architecture, and I have a bachelor's of environmental design. And it's kind of exactly what I do right now. I design environments, but that degree is actually meant for you to go and become an architect. And I worked in the architecture world for 4 years, but I was bored out of my mind, miserable, and I realized what I really loved to do when I was in school was build the models. I was the model builder in the group all the time. And so one day when I was in Hobby Lobby, I just saw the Allison Jr. kit, which is the main body of the Addams Family house now, and I just decided to buy it. I decided to work on a house to continue to use my model building skills, and I really enjoyed that, and it's just kind of grown into this passion. I didn't even realize how big the miniature community was at the time, and it took me a few years to kind of get into it and meet people and realize that it is really an art form. Heather Taylor Wilcox asks, how do you use your silhouette machine for miniatures? And is it worth the cost if you only use it for minis? What other tools, supplies would you recommend? Assume I already have tons of stuff and I'm just looking for new ways of doing things. Okay, so my silhouette machine, how I use that is I come up with a miniature that I want to create, and then I use some of those skills I got back in architecture school to break it down into shapes, so it goes from like a 3D form into 2D shapes. I just like draw it out, and if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, you can go see my stove tutorial where it ends up a 3D shape, but the pattern is 2D shapes that you have to cut out. So something similar to that. And so the Silhouette Cameo that I have right now is an older machine, and it does not cut the mat board for you. But there's some newer Cricut machines, it's called the Cricut Maker, that will cut mat board. Now it's kind of expensive. I do want to get it eventually. I can't afford it right now. But if it cuts the mat board for me, yes, I do believe that that would be worth the money, especially for a miniaturist. Your hands are so important. If you can get a machine to do some of the heavy cutting, you will save yourself some pain, you will save yourself some damage on your hands. So for me, just medically speaking, I think my investment in a Cricut Maker will be worth it. As far as the Silhouette Cameo, the version that I have, I don't know. If you found a used one and could use it to cut out some papers and stuff like that, I use it to draw on mat board so it doesn't cut my mat board. Is that making sense? So if you're going to invest in a machine, look at the Cricut Maker because it will actually cut some of those things for you. Creation Odyssey asks, Mom plus miniatures, how does that even work? My stuff is constantly going missing and I only have one. When I saw this question, just a ton of things popped into my head that I want to say. So I'm actually going to make a separate video where I talk about how I manage my studio and my art supplies around my children. And there's I wrote down 5 different suggestions, and so it would take me a while to go through it here, and not everyone's going to have kids and be interested in that. So I will make an entirely separate video because I think it is important, not only the safety factors, because some of the things we work with are either poisonous or dangerous, sharp blades. I think it is an important question, and I want to give it the focus and the time that it needs. Cassandra's Hobbies asks, what other hobbies do you have? I do a lot of art-based hobbies, so you can see in some of my videos I've done oil painting. I also love oil pastel because it's a little bit similar to oil painting. You can kind of. People hate oil pastel, and I don't really know why. I love oil pastel. I guess you do kind of have to get used to it, but anyway, so that's my favorite art form. But I also play video games. I love Legend of Zelda. I played it way back when it was on the Super Nintendo, before you could look up the answers to the puzzles on YouTube or Google. I was original playing Zelda when you had to figure it out yourself. And so now that they have the Switch and Breath of the Wild, it's like my relaxing time to play video games. I've also been enjoying some of the new Mario games, and I always love Smash Bros. Gotta play Smash Bros. And now I'm teaching my children how to play video games, and we're enjoying it as a family, so. Whew. Take a breath. I don't want this video to be too long, but here we go. Crazy Craft Lady asks, what is your current favorite project? That is a tough one. Of course, Addams Family has got to be #1 in my heart. It was my very first project. It is the project I'm trying to finish up right now, but I am really enjoying the abandoned coffee shop. I mean, when I first started it, I was excited about it, but it's really grown on me, especially because I've been doing it with you guys here on YouTube. With your suggestions, a lot of you guys' inspiration is in the project as well, so it's really become a channel project, and I love that about that. So for the next question, I went ahead and got this guy. Question is from Muggle Mason, and she asks, what's your favorite tools or electronics to use? So one of my favorite tools to use is, of course, there's the basics like the X-Acto knife, but it doesn't really make anything easier. I love tools that make things easier. So this is an easy cutter. And basically you can like open it up, put in a piece of wood. You can even cut mat board on this. You can change the direction of the dial so that you can cut at different angles, and you just chomp it down. And so the Easy Cutter is one of my favorites. You can purchase these at Hobby Lobby, or you can find them online. Just type in Easy Cutter craft tool and you should be able to find one of these. I just love any tool that makes miniatures easier, especially ones that make it easier on my hands, because I do work with miniatures so much. Anything that makes me more comfortable working, I really love. She also asked about electronics. I have recently gotten some new earbud things, and I'm going to be using that to listen to podcasts. So having some entertainment, I would say, would be a great thing to have while you're working on miniatures, because a lot of things take a while. So I like to have some entertainment going on. Netflix, also a great one. Christy Barba asks, other than the Addams Family, what show, movie, animation would you consider making a miniature set or home from? So one of the next upcoming projects I want to do is the Beetlejuice house. And I haven't really sat down and tried to figure it out yet, because I still have the Addams Family and coffee shop going. But I really think it's going to be Beetlejuice is going to be next, because I loved doing the Nightmare Before Christmas project, which was a lot of like cartoony type sculpting in clay, which is going to also be in the Beetlejuice house, because a lot of it does look very sculpted and stop motion, has that kind of look to it. So Beetlejuice is one. I don't know if you've ever seen IT Crowd. It's a British comedy. I want to do the basement scene from the IT Crowd. Eventually I want to do the Munsters, because the Munsters are awesome. And what else? Maybe something from Dark Shadows one day. I don't know if you know Dark Shadows. It's kind of like a vampire soap opera thing, but it's funny. It's a really fun thing. Anyway, something like that. Kalinda Saraswati asks, any recommendation for miniature store, especially on Etsy? So I don't have any recommendations for Etsy, because I haven't personally bought from anyone on Etsy. And unless I've actually gotten a miniature from somebody in my hands, I can't tell you the quality, because a lot of times in miniatures it's what you feel, if it's secure, if it's, you know, solid miniature. So that's a hard one. And I haven't been very active on Etsy, so I feel like I just can't give you many suggestions there. My biggest suggestion is, if you do look for stores on Etsy that you want to purchase from, look at the reviews. Make sure you look at the reviews of the store. It's going to tell you, because people are really quick to review if something's wrong with their purchase. So if there is something going on with those miniatures, people will let you know in the reviews. But if a store has a 100% review rate, people love their stuff, then I would feel pretty safe about purchasing from there, because that means people got on there on purpose to leave a good review for that artist. So just make sure you read through the reviews, and then you'll know who you're willing to buy from. Carmenlita Bagley asks, how does your husband feel about your miniatures? I like that he watches the children during the live streams. Was he always supportive? Did he initially give you the look we miniatures sometimes get? So my husband's super supportive. He's always been really supportive of everything I've done. I'm super blessed in that way to have him. I did a photography business a while back, and that failed. And I've had several little bitty jobs here and there, and so he's just always been supportive of my creative side and my creative mind, and he's just like, whatever makes you happy. Like, I have an entire room of our house that I've taken over with doll houses, and he's happy for me to have this space. And so I love him for that, and I also support him. I want him to do something that makes him happy. So we're currently working on, he's studying up to get some things for what he wants to do in the future. So, did I answer all of that? So yes, he's always been supportive. Every now and then he will give me the look when I'm talking about another dollhouse, because dollhouses are big and, oh bye, see you later. Dollhouses are pretty big, and so they do take up space. I want to be respectful of everybody else's space and not just take over everywhere. So every now and then he'll just kind of be like, are you sure we want to get that big dollhouse? And so anyway. Okay, Maury Dark Moss asks, my question is, who's your favorite Addams Family character and why? Also, do you have a favorite line from the series or films? So my favorite Addams Family character used to be Wednesday. It still is Wednesday, but it was more Wednesday like when I was younger, and I used to try and pretend to be Wednesday, and I would do like, did I ever do black lipstick? I don't think I was allowed to have black lipstick, but I did black fingernails, and I would never smile. I would practice not smiling, even though I was a pretty smiley kid until my teenage years. But eventually my mom threatened that if I ruined any more family photos by not smiling, that I would start to have to pay for the film. So I started smiling in photos again. But it was really just because I liked Wednesday, I liked her character, and I wanted to be like her. But now as a mom and as an older woman, I guess, I really love Morticia. I love her sense of humor. I love her calm, just her calm nature as she just kind of like glides throughout these events that are going on. So I really like Morticia. They're my two favorite characters. And favorite line from the series, or actually I have a favorite line from the film that I just think of randomly. It is not a quotable quote. Like nobody would, there's no reason to quote this line from the movie, but it's my absolute favorite. It's when they're in the basement and they're trying to find something for the auction, and they're pulling stuff out of this cabinet in the basement, and they pull out this big bundle and it says Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe. They're reading the tag on the bundle, and then they pull it out and says Uncle Knick-Knack's summer wardrobe, and then they pull out another bag that's kind of in a human shape, and then they say Uncle Knick-Knack, and then toss it to the side. So it's like, you know, there was a body in there, and it's no big deal, but it just cracks me up. I think it's hilarious. There's no reason to quote that ever, but it pops in my head often, so that's probably my favorite line. Juju S says, I would like to see more dolls for the dollhouses. They are so intimidating to make. So not really a question, but yes, I definitely plan to make more dolls. I've already made Uncle Fester, so I will be making more of the Addams Family characters pretty soon because I got to get it done before the summer. Carmelita Bagley says also, oh, so this is a continuation of her question. When did you decide to sell your items? Everyone tells me to sell, but I see my craft as a relaxing hobby. Not sure I'm ready to switch to selling mode. I planned to sell in my older years as a retiree. So for this, if you're a miniaturist and you are planning to sell on Etsy, the way I did it to make it less stressful for me is I didn't post something until I had made it, and then I posted how many I had. And so it was really kind of a casual side business type thing, where if I made 3 chairs, then I posted 3 chairs. So I just posted what I had, and what I had was what I had, and when it was gone, it was gone. And so you could start that way, where you just post what you make. All right, I think that is the end of the questions, maybe? If you want to add any questions you want me to answer, I can try and answer them in the comments if you didn't happen to see the community tab post. The community tab is a great place for you guys to know about if you're wanting to be an active part of the channel, because that's where I'm going to be posting if for some reason a video is delayed or if I have to cancel a live stream. And it just is a way for me to communicate with you guys, because I don't know who all is on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, which I don't ever use. Someone teach me how to use Twitter. I don't know. So anyway, I think that's it. I'll probably do another Q&A somewhere down the road when we have a lot more subscribers join us, but I really appreciate you guys sending me some questions, and thank you for letting me do something a little different this week, seeing as my life is so crazy right now. I really enjoyed sitting down and talking with you guys. And also, if you were interested in that parenting question, hopefully it will be up pretty close to around the time that this video is up, because I'm going to film it right now. I'll put the link in the description, and hopefully you can check that out too if you really want to see how I handle my kids versus my art supplies. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being part of my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!